Hello and welcome back. It's Simsy here. Yeah, Sim Nation. Yeah, and they're checking if we're recording. We're recording on the school holidays. Everybody say hello, Sim Nation. I am actually recording, I think. Yeah, I'm going to keep it all in there. I can't bother editing this. All right. Yeah, and welcome back. Slide transition. Okay. I'm actually recording. Okay, so what we got here is this going on so far. Pick the red one. You can pick the red one and it changes the color. Pick the green one, it closes. Pick the blue one. I've programmed this new thing to go to question 2. This is going to go here. So we're going to hopefully create all of that right now. All right, so what we have here is this program. In Form 1, we achieved this so far. So all we've done so far is change the forecolor of the label. And we've also changed the text of the label. So right now, all that this achieves, again, remember, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but object.attribute equals value. So when I run that, the red PB red click, when I click on red, it will run these 2 lines of code. The first line changes the color to red of the LBL question, which is this label here. And the second line then changes the text to pick the blue one. We know it's text and we know it's a string because it is in inverted commas, as we discussed earlier. So when I click on red, bang, pick the blue one, it runs both those lines. And now it's waiting for me to click something else. If I continue to click that button, it will continue to run those 2 lines of code. You won't see the effects of that though, obviously, because it's already done. So let's look at creating a new form now. So what happens now if I do click the blue one, it should take me to a new form. And it takes me to this right here. Before I go into flipping between multiple forms and different things like that, one thing I want to do is just go through a couple of form options that is going to make your forms the same size, appear in the same place, do a bunch of things like you don't want this to happen. You don't want to be able to maximize the form and it to be big like this. You don't want to be able to resize it. You want to be able to have it locked down like I do back on Form 1. On Form 1, you'll notice that I can't maximize and I can't resize it. And it always appears in the center. So let me show you how I quickly achieve that, and we'll do that on question 2, which is my second form. Before I go there, this is how I actually create a new form. So over here in my Solution Explorer, you guys only have one here, which is form1.vb. You don't have any of these other things that I've created. I should probably do them in another color. You don't have any of these other things. All you have is form1.vb. In order to create a new form, I can right-click here on Slightly Challenged Test, which is our PC name for the moron test, and go down here to Add New Item. You'll notice a very familiar window. You need to select Windows Forms here, Windows Form, and then here you can rename it. So it'd be a good idea now to, rather than start, just call it Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, which is just the default names for everything that you create that's a new object. Call it something that's going to be useful. So mine is called question2.vb. I'm not going to create one now because I already have one here. But when you change the text here and you press add over here, it will add a new form, a brand new, totally clean form to your project. It'd be a good idea later on, like I have here, to create questions, question 2, question 3, question 4. You might even have a page for different sections. That's my phone, fantastic. Wow. Okay. or a fail form. So you're always going to need one of these, a form or a screen that you're going to go back to when you get the wrong answer. You're going to have a choice of quitting or restarting at least, and any other options that you want to give it. But let's just look at creating a new form. So once you press add, you're going to get something like this. And it's going to be a blank form. So right now, mine is already created. It's got a bunch of little things on there, which I'm going to explain. But it's going to have a blank form. Now, the main thing, though, is look at question form 1, which is my first question. I can't maximize it. I can't resize it. And it starts in the center. When I click on question 2, it also starts in the center. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that right now. But I can still maximize it and I can still resize it, which I don't want to be able to do because then I get weird things like this going on. So let me show you exactly how to lock that down. So if I go to my form options, so every object here has its own properties. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects. I have 3 picture boxes, 1, 2, 3. And I have a label, that's my 4th object, but I also have a form, and my form has its own properties. Don't double click on it, but when you click on it once, you can notice over here that your properties change. So here are a couple properties that you need to modify. When I just look at my script over here, form border style. To make your forms load in the same position every time, we make it start at the center of the screen. So what I could do is click on my form, and over here, right down the bottom here, start position, you want to make sure that that's center screen. By default, it's Windows default location, and you'll notice that it annoyingly pops up on the top left of the screen. If you're running 2 screens like I am, it even pops up on the default screen on the top left of that screen, which is very annoying. But if you just select that to center screen, that means that every window now is going to open in the same position. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to design and choose a size for your form, so you can lock that down. So my form, I decided just by trial and error that I was going to make it 700 pixels wide by 650 pixels high. And I made each of my forms the same size. So you notice if I click back to form 1, that's 700 by 650. If I click back to question 2, that's 700 by 650. There's weird sneezes going on in the background. That was my cat. What a good joke. Okay, and we're still got. So another property that you want to change is here, your maximize box. Maximize box, rather than true, you want to change that to false. So that means that we're not going to be able to maximize the box. It's even going to gray out this little box here, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to happen. We want to change the maximize box. We want to set a defined size. We want to change our start position to center screen. And the last thing is form border style. Rather than making it sizable, which means we can resize that, let's just change that to fixed single. Now with those 4 options done, I'll run through them again. Form border style should be fixed single. Maximize box should be false. And if I scroll down a little bit more, size should be 700 by 650 if that's the size of the design that you want. It doesn't have to be that design. And start position should be center screen. If you change those 4 properties for each of your forms now, you'll get this, where now I have a form that can't be maximized, can't be changed, can't be resized, and the next one is the same. So one hides, the next one pops up, and we got this going on. That's very, very nice. You'll notice that my fail form still pops up over to the side. So if I quickly just go to my fail form now, change those things, Just notice that default start location is still there. I go back to center screen. Maximize box. False. Form border style. Fix single. You'll notice now that it's fixed. And that should appear in the same place. Fantastic. Good. I'm going to pause it there and come back with some options of how to flip between different forms. But there are some options for you to set up your forms and to get them looking the same. I'm going to show you next how to then flip between different forms that are based on different interactions that you can do.